Well, here we are revisiting the Capehart with the fried silver mica disease. I ordered some Mica Caps from Mauser. There's no values given in the schematic. Researching the Antique Radio Forum, they tell you the general consensus is anything between 100 and 120 picofarad. I ordered two 100s and two 120s, for some reason thinking I needed one for each can. There's actually two caps in each can, so one cap's going to get the two 100s and the other redder can, is going to get the two 120s, and we'll see how they work, and I can do a little comparison maybe, if I can tell the difference. Probably won't be able to. So I pulled the can out of the radio again, which I've had out before. And if you can see that rivet right there, that's got to be drilled out. And the mica is sandwiched between there. Focus camera. Right between that little thin line going top to bottom underneath the plastic. And then, I don't know if you can see them, I think you can, the really fine wires run down on either side all the way down to the ends, and there's two on each side, and the mica is in between them. So the next step here is I'm going to drill out that rivet from underneath and try to pop open that little plastic cover and see what the mica looks inside like. And the idea, I was going to try to just jump across these lugs underneath the radio, but the guys on the radio forum said, no, you really got to get the mica out. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll be back. Okay, I thought it would be fun to pull this apart on camera. Have my camera set up on a tripod. And as you can see, it's loose. I have drilled out the bottom, and I have pried up the rivet out the middle. And you're seeing this getting opened for the first time live on camera. There's that. Being very gentle how I take it apart, because I want to make sure that when I replace this, I jump the new one across properly. So as you can see, what it looks like we have here is the layers of the plastic with the mica in between, and this is a lead coming out, going down on each side. And I would say that each half of this, where you see the white, is the mica. So we're going to have to jump the new one across this jumper and across this jumper. And I think I'm likely going to have to do it under the radio. I don't think they'll fit underneath here. They might fit in here, but I don't want to make them tight. We'll see. I won't commit to that yet. So let's go ahead and see if we can slide this out. And that would be the mica, and look at how burned it is. You remember the flashing we saw on camera of the mica burning in there, and it is quite black with burning, especially on that side where it was sparking away in there. So that's the mica wafer. It's plastic too. I think there's mica sandwiched between the plastic, but that's what actually makes the capacitor. The two sides of the plastic with a mica in between. And then here, oh yeah, now I can clearly see you have a lead on each side, and they actually lift right out, and I have to be careful of those because they're hooked up to those really fine wires. Now if I just soldered them down, boom, you would have no capacitance between them. I actually have to bridge the new capacitor between the two sides of each of those. So I guess I'm going to have to bend up these and cut them off or something. But I also have to have them secure because they move now. So when I put it back in the radio, it's going to stay. So I'll probably have to take the plastic thing now and put it back in there and put a screw and a nut to hold it in place, just to hold these down so they don't move around. So that's where I'm going to be jumping the new capacitors, is between these two sides, and we'll see how they fit. I'll be back. I'm going to pull them out and see how they might look inside of here, if they'll fit like right here on each side inside the can. That would be nice. That might work. We'll see. Okay, I got a mica cap out. This is one of the 100 picofarads, and as you can see, it probably will fit in there if I can bend the tabs up, and the tabs these in there, and clip them off, and maybe solder this right to each side of it inside of there. I should be all set. And then maybe even, I'm thinking, just a spot of glue on each side to hold these things from moving around instead of putting that plastic thing back in. That would be too much trouble to deal with, putting that back in along with the screw and all of the nut. I'll just cut the tabs off, solder them in, and glue them in place so they don't move around on me. A little glue gun would work very well for that application. So hopefully, well, I'll be back with these soldered in. You can have a little look at that. This is Tom. Well, I thought I'd go ahead and get this on camera. I have pried up the ends of our little flaps. It was like that over here. And I have clipped them off with my nippers, made them short. And then I cut off the ends of the capacitor, and I already have one end connected to there. And I found when I soldered that in, the solder itself is holding this thing pretty secure. I don't think I'll have to worry about a glue gun. So the next step is I'm going to get this one in underneath there and solder it in. And this one looks a little bit long still. I don't know how well you can see this, but hopefully it's focused as I'm working. I'm gonna try. I gotta clip off just a little bit more of that lead. It made me nervous cutting these leads so short, because I'm like, once I cut them, I'm committed to making this work, because they're so short now I can't use them too much else with them if I tried to do them a different way. So this one we're gonna bend it in, and I ended up putting it actually underneath the little thing, and it worked okay. It's gonna go over just a little more. Now it's too far. Don't you hate that? You need just the right amount of pressure, and then it moves too far. Okay, that has good contact. I'm gonna lay it down, and we'll get the old soldering iron going here. I have to turn it so I can get at it well. It's moving around an awful lot. It doesn't move before. I'm going to just weight that thing down so it doesn't bounce around on me. Still moving. Hot. The end of that's hot. I wanted to make sure it was pulled down though. Okay. I think we're soldered in. Let me just see if I can pull down a little bit. I guess it really doesn't need to too much. It's positioned okay. I was a little worried. I'm a little worried that if I ever had to adjust the IF and move this slug up and down, because you put a screwdriver through here and you turn that slug, and this slug is threaded and it goes up and down, and that's how you do your alignment. And I don't want it to hit the top of this. You know, it doesn't give me a lot of room for turning. Although I have to say, it's probably not. Oh, there we go. But now will it fit inside the can? Yeah, see, that's the problem. I have to get it turned and centered. It's got to be in far enough that it goes in the can, but I think it's going to have to hit it. But I hope there's enough clearance that this thing is actually tuned. I won't have to move that slug. If I have to move the slug, and I'll have to figure something else out, but these are pretty solid now. Actually, that one moves a little, but the other one doesn't move at all. And it's in. So I'm going to do the other side the same way. I thought I'd film the other side as I do it. I ended up off camera because it took a little manipulating. I ended up reheating the solder and pushing it down, so now I have a little more clearance above it in case I have to move that slug. I don't think I'd have to move the slug more than that anyway, hopefully. So how I did this, I thought I'd just get this on camera quickly, is I simply took a screwdriver, and these little things just are the other end of the lugs that come out the bottom. Simply bent it up, took my end cutters, got in close, and took quite a bit of cutting power here to do it, but cut it off. There we go. And then the other one the same way, which just left me the little platform type ends there to solder to, which worked out really well. And then I just put the other capacitor in there and solder it up. I'll be back. I thought I'd show too. It was quite hard to get this thing to balance in there to solder the first side, so what I did is I put it up against here and then just took this lead before I cut it and wrapped it around the base of that, and I just kind of wedge it in there to hold it. So then I can solder the other side of it. And then of course once I have that one tacked, then I can cut the other side off, and the solder holds it. So I can do the other side. So I'll get this in there. Moved on me. I'll get it set up and do it off camera. You get the idea. Well, okay, we have the capacitors in both sides. The little fine wires are still intact. Then this is going to go back on, and we'll put it back in the radio. Now, I did mark. You can see that purple thing. I didn't put that there. It looks like finger polish, but I don't know if somebody else was in this can before. But anyway, I had it marked purple. This is going to go back in here, just like so. And you can even see the little caps through the holes. Of course, the clips go in those holes. You won't see them later on. And we'll get this back in the radio and fire it up. I'm going to fire it up before I do the other one. This is the one that was sparking the most underneath and making the most noise. So we'll see what it sounds like. I am going to replace the other one too, because obviously if one is bad, they're probably both bad, but We'll stick it back in the radio, make sure it's functioning with this one in, and then we'll do the next one. This is Tom. Okay, here we are for the power-up. I have the new IF can back in. Well, new IF. That's the one over here where we've replaced the micas. This one I haven't touched. There's one over here. And that one may still have a problem. Wouldn't be surprised if it does, but let's see what it does with just the one done. Power on. I have it upside down so I can make sure there's no smoking or popping underneath here for my reconnecting things. Okay, we have a loud hum, same as before. Actually, it's not as crackly. Now it's just humming. It's trying to get a signal. There's a station. Very weak, and obviously it's still very noisy. Hopefully it's the other mica caps that are causing that noise. I don't have the crackling and popping like before though from that other mica, the one we replaced. Real loud hum in the middle there. I imagine that'll need some kind of a lining when we're done here. Oh, there we go. So it's working, but it's still crackly. I don't want to leave that music on too long or YouTube will complain. We're receiving signals. It's still quite noisy. We'll pull out the other can and we'll do the micas in that one and see what happens. I'll be back. This is Tom. Well, hello again there. I thought I'd just get on camera how I'm taking these IF cans apart in case anybody wants to try to do this. And as I'm on that subject, I just want to emphasize that my videos are not how-to videos. Mine are show and tell. This is Tom seeing if he can break a radio kind of thing. I'm no electronics expert. I've shared before. I'm a nurse. I'm not an electronics guy. Never been to college for it. I read books. I watch YouTube videos. I read online websites. Try to learn how to do this stuff because I enjoy it. Experts, I would say, Bob Anderson. He has a background in electric engineering. Dennis Carter, I believe, does also. He's quite knowledgeable. And a new guy I've been watching, Dr. Carson Lab. I'm going to put a link on this video to his website, his YouTube channel. That guy, he's only been on YouTube for a short amount of time. I'm almost positive he's got to be an electrical engineer because his knowledge is quite good. His videos are true how-to videos, and he knows what the heck he's doing when he's talking about electronics. I just kind of schlep along and give my show and tell stuff. This is what I'm working on, and if you care to check it out, go ahead. If not, hey, it's fine too. I'm no expert. I'm going to make mistakes. Don't take anything I say as an expert opinion. And as with any radio and electronics, always be careful of the high voltages. I'll tell anybody, do not do this if you're in any way not sure what you're doing with high voltage stuff, and be very careful. Like my oscilloscope, now that is 1,000 volts in it. These little radios here don't have that much, but there's enough in them. It could hurt, and some of the other ones can actually kill you. You got to be really careful. Like I know the TVs, like I have a couple old TVs that I want to work on eventually, and they have over 10,000 volts in them. You really got to be careful what you're doing. So They're not how-to videos. I'm not giving out advice. I'm just saying this is what I did and this is what worked. So, having said all that, sorry for the little soapbox kind of disclaimer. I'm drilling out this rivet to pop this open. I showed it on the last one how I opened it, and this is simply how I'm drilling it out. And there's nothing complicated about it. I'm simply taking a drill, and I found a bit that was just a little bit smaller than the outside diameter but bigger than the inside diameter, so it cuts through the rivet itself. And I'm simply drilling it out. Just spun, and when it spins on me, then I got to start going in a little sideways to keep it from spinning, just to wear it away. It is brass too. It's a nice shiny brass rivet, which fortunately it is brass because it's soft metal. Makes it easier. There we go. That's the top part of the rivet. It just popped out. And then I simply work on the other side by trying to lift the rivet out from here with a screwdriver, and it's coming right up. And out we go. Try to get that up. I don't know, I gotta see if I'm on camera, sorry. Trying to get oriented. Okay, over here is the best, I think. So, where's my tweezers? I'm always losing things. We'll lift this out. Perhaps. No, we go on the other side. And I can tell already it looks pretty burned, just like the last one. So I think this will probably work better once I get this one replaced too. There it is, and it's pretty crispy. With all that black is burned areas on it, I believe. It sure looks burned to me. So we're going to go ahead and put the new ones in this. Now this one, as I had mentioned before, this is going to have 120 picofarad. The other ones were on hundreds, but I don't know if it'll make any difference, but that's what I have. That's what I ordered. I should have ordered 4. I don't know why I was thinking there was 1 in each of these cans. There's 2 in each of these cans, but there you have it. I'll be back with this one all soldered up and ready to go into the radio, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm kind of zoomed in here. Hope you can see that. Got a pair of hemostats there holding the capacitor in place. One of the advantages of being a nurse, I guess, which I thought I'd talk about a little bit here as I'm soldering this up. No jokes about the Fockers movie, Male Nurses. Actually, that was a cute movie. There's actually a lot of male nurses around, believe it or not, and I've been a nurse for about 15 years, and I've been an Army nurse, and I work at the VA now, and I'm a veteran and proud to take care of veterans, and you'd be surprised how many male nurses there are out there. And I enjoy what I do. I work in a intensive care unit at a VA hospital, and I like taking care of veterans. And it's still a technical type profession, different kind of technology, I suppose, than electronics. Although we use electronics, we have I'm working in the intensive care unit, so we have all the monitoring and the hemodynamic monitoring, central line monitoring, heart monitoring, which is an interesting thing when you're studying electronics in the body and you realize that your body has electronics in it. Your heart beats from electrical signals that can be read on a monitor. And between the negative and positive potentials of cells and the potassium and the calcium in your body, and they all interact in electrical ways. Alright, I think that one's in. Don't know if I like that. Here we go. That looks better. I think that's it for that one. And let's make sure I'm on screen. I forget I'm really zoomed in too, and because it's always a challenge between using the tripod and not using the tripod. If it's on the tripod, I can't really see what is in the screen all the time, but if I'm holding it, I'm moving all over the place, so it's kind of a trade-off. So that one is now soldered in. I'll just have to bend it in a little bit. And the other one is soldered in. And we'll put that can back together and put it in the radio and fire it up and see what happens. This, as I mentioned, this is 120 picofarads. The other one is holding 100 picofarads. We'll be back.